What's up, Everyday Blades? Man, it is mail call time. Sponsored by the U.S. Mail and Midgards-Messer. Come on. This is the most epic knife I have received by mail. It is unbelievable. This is the Valhalla. Now, the original Valhalla I thought was unbelievably cool, but they did the one little small run and it was gone, and I didn't know about it till way after it came out. And unfortunately, that's kind of how a lot of people learn about Midgards-Messer. They release these 200-300 runs, and they're sold out before they even make them. A couple of months later, they deliver, but there's none to be sold. So let's check this beast out. It is unbelievable. It's beautiful. Psh, look at that beast. Wow. Set this monster case to the side. So, one big thing about this knife is made in Italy by Fox Knives, and they did an amazing job. I want you to just take that in. Big, huge slabs of milled titanium. The blade's not labeled, but everything they do is in CPM D2, so I'm assuming that's what it is. Look at that blade. That little short handle and that monster blade. Now, I've had a version of this. Not a version of this. A knife that had a short handle and a long blade. It was a Benchmade. You remember back when they made their... they had a run of knives. The boxes were all in red. They were from China. It was like a budget line. They had one knife. I can't remember the name of it. If you look at my Benchmade playlist, you'll see it. I should have looked that up before I did this. But when you folded, it was a... I can't remember what kind of lock it had, but it had a regular lock. And when you fold the knife down, a piece of sheathing comes out here and covers the edge of the blade. It folds with the blade as the blade folds out. And then when you fold the blade up, it folds back in, making it look like it had a tiny handle and a monster blade, which it did. But when you folded it up, the blade didn't just stick over, it was covered up. Really cool. Knife was pretty cheaply made. It was wobbly. The exact opposite of this. This is like every other Midgards-Messer knife that I have. It's hard to keep this thing in the frame. Everything is unbelievably tight. I mean, there's no give in any direction. These little tabs release the lock, and then you fold it, and it's a little stiff because it's new. It's going to take some time to break in, but there is no play anywhere. Look at the finish on that, man. They just killed that. And that milled titanium is beautiful. So let's look at it up against a couple of other monsters I have. First, I'll do the measurements so you'll have an idea of the length. I know the blade is about 6 inches, but let's get an exact. To where the first part of the handle scales start, 6 5/8. And then from that same point to the scale, 7 inches. But the actual handle part is 5 inches, shorter than the blade. This is your margin for error. This is, as you close this, it shoves the blade back up forward, and you'll see this, it looks like it's hanging over too far. As you close that in, it slides in. Really, really cool. And that's not their proprietary locking system. They have permission to use it. It's the lock-in knife patent and license system from Fox Knives in Manigo, Italy. Might be able to see that in there. I don't know. Maybe yes, maybe no. Anyway, it's written on the inside of the spine. But they did a beautiful job shining up all these liners. All the mechanism is all shined up. The previous Valhalla, I've never seen one in person. It was more of a working finish, more of a mattish finish, like a dull finish. Everything on this knife shines. And it's beautiful. And it won't fit in their standard zipper pouch. They have this monster for a couple of their knives. This actually came with the large Viking, which only takes up about half of this knife. So let's look at it up against another large knife of Midgards-Messer's, but not near as large. This was one of my largest Midgards-Messers here till recently. They've released some huge knives. So that's the Berserker, which is a huge knife in its own right. I mean, you can see I have 2XL gloved hands. That thing's a monster. And then this was the second to last release, the Jotun, or the Jotun, which is a beefer, but not near as long. And then last but definitely not least, this one will not fit in frame, but we're going to stick it in there anyway. The Fenris. It's hard to compare that knife to anything. It's just a beast. I love this ridiculous thing. And that's what it was built to be, ridiculous. It's not built to carry in your pocket and whittle wood and open boxes. It's built to be ridiculous for knife collectors. So I'll show you up against a regular knife, or a couple of regular knives. Here is the Benchmade Griptilian and the Civivi Elementum. Just about as long as both of them put together. They're a little bit longer, but it's a beast. And this also goes for this. This is a collector's item. You can carry this knife. There are people that will carry this knife. But one, it does not have a pocket clip. Not needed in this case. But they do make a really nice 3D milled sheath. They also offer a really nice carved box for this to go in. And it comes with a Midgards-Messer challenge coin. So, look at that. Isn't that beautiful? I have been waiting for this knife to get here forever. It took them a little longer to produce this knife, and you can see why. I mean, just the geometry and the mechanism alone is super challenging to get it as tight as it is. There's just no give in any direction. The knife just functions flawlessly. You're not going to open this thing fast. It's not a fast opener. Could you take this thing out in the woods and use it for chopping and being? Absolutely. I mean, look at the blade stock. It is thick. It's every bit, just under 1/4 inch, I bet. You could beat on this thing and beat on this thing. I wouldn't. I mean, it's a collector's item to me. If I'm going to do that, I'm going to go get a fixed blade. But this is just super cool to me. I love this. I hope they keep putting out stuff like this. I love it. You know, the thing about Midgards-Messer is, if you're on the fence about something, if you like it and you're on the fence about, well, maybe I won't like it. Like 90% of the time, by the time you get the knife, they're sold out. There's somebody that will buy it from you for at least what you paid for it. I've seen these sold for $400, and they're on eBay right now, selling, not just listed, selling for $1,150. So it's a safe bet. If you even think you might like one of their knives, buy it. There's a pretty good chance you can at least get your money back. There are some of them that they have a little bit of stock left over, but usually not much. Usually, if they're popular knives, sell out really quickly. So if you think it's a nice design and you're going to like it, you got to order the pre-order, because you might get beat up in the secondary if you really have to have it. Anyone who has to have this and buys it in the secondary is going to get beat up, because there's only, let's see, I think 300. 101 out of 300. So there's only 300 of these out there. I don't know if that includes they make the same version, but it doesn't have anodized scales. I don't know if that's included in the same 300, because that one was like an ultra limited edition. for people who got in early. I don't know if that's including the 300. I think that it is. 300 is usually the max that they make. A lot of the knives are 200. Let's see what if the Jaw Tune said it or not. Yeah, the Jaw Tune, they only made 200 of these. I mean, they were gone instantly. I mean, it was on the site maybe a day or two, and they were gone. They have a couple on the site now available. I can't believe they have the Sleipners left. The Sleipner is the knife with the big hole in it. That's one of my favorite Midgard-Messers. And once people figure that out, they will be gone. There's a few of them left. But, anywho, that's my overview of the Valhalla. I love this knife. It is so beautiful. And it's going to look sweet in my collection. I think I'm going to spring for the wooden box for it to go in the wooden display box. Guys, thanks for watching. God bless you and your families. Say a prayer for our country. Please subscribe if you're not subscribed. It really helps us out. Doesn't cost you a thing. Thank you.